Hey everyone! In this video, we're going to talk about the psychology of attraction, confidence, and dynamics in relationships. 10 ways to become ruthless. Keep women chasing, the biggest lie ever told. Women don't like toxic and bad guys. Here's why emotional danger triggers her obsession. Alright, before we dive in, if you're finding this helpful and want more tips like this, go ahead and hit subscribe or follow. That way you won't miss any future updates. If you want her hooked, be the man she can't predict. Because the truth is, a woman falls for the man she can't control, not the one who gives her all the control. You've probably heard the old line, just be nice, be yourself, and she'll fall for you. Yeah, right. If that worked, every guy who's ever held a door open or sent a good morning text would be swimming in love letters. The reality? Attraction isn't sparked by playing it safe or being the predictable good guy. It's about standing out, commanding attention, and, let's be honest, keeping her a little off balance. Not in a manipulative way, but in a way that screams confidence, mystery, and unapologetic self-worth. So buckle up. I'm about to break down why women are drawn to men who don't follow the rule book, why emotional unpredictability is your secret weapon, and how to embody the kind of vibe that makes her think about you long after you're gone. This isn't about being a jerk or playing games. It's about understanding what actually lights a spark and keeps it burning. Let's go. 1. Stop trying to be her everything. First things first. If you're bending over backward to be her therapist, her cheerleader, and her personal assistant all rolled into one, you're doing it wrong. Women don't want a guy who's at their beck and call 24/7. That kind of availability screams, I've got nothing else going on. And trust me, that's not sexy. Instead, focus on being a man with a life. You've got goals, hobbies, friends, stuff that keeps you busy and fulfilled outside of her. When she sees you've got a world she's not the center of, she'll naturally want to be part of it. It's human nature. People chase what feels just out of reach. Picture this. You're out with your buddies, crushing it at a trivia night or hitting the gym, and she texts you. Do you drop everything to reply? Nah, let her wait a bit. Not because you're trying to mess with her head, but because you're genuinely caught up in your own thing. That subtle distance? It's magnetic. She'll start wondering what you're up to, and that curiosity is where attraction lives. 2. Mystery is your best friend. Let's talk about predictability. It's the death of desire. If she knows exactly how you'll react to every situation, down to the emojis you'll use in your texts, she's already halfway to bored. A woman's imagination is powerful, and the less you hand her on a platter, the more she'll fill in the blanks herself. And trust me, her version of you is probably way more exciting than the one you're tempted to overshare. So, how do you keep her guessing? Don't spill your whole life story on the first date. Skip the urge to tell her every detail about your day or your 5-year plan. Drop hints instead. Maybe you mention a trip you took last summer, but leave out the juicy parts. Or you laugh off a question about your weekend with a sly, "Wouldn't you like to know?" It's not about being cagey. It's about giving her just enough to keep her curious. Here's a real-world example. I knew a guy, let's call him Jake, who was a master at this. He'd meet a woman, charm her socks off, but never lay all his cards on the table. One time, he casually mentioned he'd spent a weekend off the grid, but didn't elaborate. The woman he was talking to spent the next week texting him, trying to figure out if he was secretly a spy or just camping. Point is, she was hooked because he gave her space to wonder. Be like Jake. 3. Confidence, not cockiness. There's a fine line between confidence and coming off like a tool. Confidence is quiet. It's knowing your worth without needing to shout it from the rooftops. Cockiness is loud, desperate for validation, and honestly, it's a turn-off. Women can smell insecurity a mile away, even if it's dressed up as bravado. So, how do you show confidence? Own your space. Walk into a room like you belong there. Make eye contact when you talk, and don't fidget or apologize for existing. If she teases you, laugh it off instead of getting defensive. If she challenges you, hold your ground calmly. No need to argue or grovel. Here's the kicker. Confidence also means being okay with her not liking you. Sounds counterintuitive, right? But when you're cool with walking away if things don't vibe, it shows you're not desperate. That kind of self-assurance is catnip. She'll respect you more because you respect yourself. 4. Keep her on her toes. Emotionally, not literally. Alright, let's get into the juicy stuff. Emotional dynamics. Women are drawn to men who can stir their feelings. Not just the warm fuzzies, but the whole spectrum. That doesn't mean you should be a roller coaster of drama, but it does mean you shouldn't be a flat line either. Think about it like this. If every interaction with you feels like a sunny day, she'll eventually tune out. But if you mix in a bit of unpredictability, say you're super warm one moment and a little aloof the next, she'll stay engaged. Why? Because humans are wired to pay attention to things that surprise them. It's biology, not cruelty. Here's how to pull it off without being a jerk. Be fully present when you're with her. Make her feel like the only person in the room. Laugh, tease, connect. But then don't cling. If she expects you to text her goodnight and you don't, or you skip a day before calling her back, it creates a little tension. Not the bad kind, just enough to make her wonder, what's he up to? That wonder keeps her invested. 5. Don't hand over your power. One of the biggest mistakes guys make is giving away their power too soon. I'm not talking about control or dominance. That's not the vibe. I mean emotional power. When you're too quick to say, I love you, rearrange your life for her, or act like she's the only woman on earth, you're handing her the reins. And deep down, that makes you less intriguing. Instead, let her earn your affection. Not in a withholding way, but in a way that shows you've got standards. You're not just falling for anyone. You're choosing her because she's bringing something special to the table. That shift in mindset changes everything. She'll feel like she's winning you over, and that effort, it's what makes her value you more. Pro tip, hold off on the big romantic gestures until she's shown she's worth it. Flowers on date 2. Nah, save that for when she's proven she's as invested as you are. It's not about playing hard to get. It's about pacing yourself so the connection feels earned. 6. Let her feel the stakes. Here's a truth bomb. Relationships thrive on a bit of uncertainty. If she feels like she's got you locked down 100%, she might start taking you for granted. It's not that she's mean, it's just human nature to value what's scarce. So, let her feel like there's something at stake. How? Don't be afraid to show you have options. I'm not saying flirt with other women in front of her, that's tacky. But if she notices other people are drawn to you, whether it's a coworker laughing at your joke or a friend hyping you up, it reminds her you're a catch. That subtle pressure keeps her on her game. Another way is to set boundaries. If she flakes on plans or acts disrespectful, don't just shrug it off. Call it out calmly or pull back a bit. Show her that your time and attention aren't guaranteed. When she realizes she could lose you, she'll step up. It's not about fear-mongering, it's about mutual respect. 7. Charm her, then disappear a little. Charm is your superpower. It's that mix of wit, warmth, and just enough swagger to make her smile. When you turn it on, she'll eat it up. But here's the trick. Don't overstay your welcome. If you're always around, always on, the charm loses its shine. Instead, give her a dose of that magic, then step back. Maybe you have an amazing date where you've got her laughing and blushing, but then you don't call her the next day. Or you send a flirty text that leaves her grinning, but you don't follow up right away. That space lets her savor the moment and crave more. Think of it like seasoning food. Too much salt ruins the dish. A sprinkle here and there? Perfection. Your attention is the salt. Use it wisely. 8. Be her rock, but not her doormat. Women love a man who's steady when things get messy. If she's stressed about work or life, being the guy who listens without freaking out is gold. It shows you're strong, grounded, and not rattled by her storms. But there's a catch. Don't let that strength turn into you solving all her problems or letting her walk all over you. Being her rock means you're there when it counts, but you're not her emotional punching bag. If she's venting, nod, offer a word or two, but don't jump in to fix everything. And if she crosses a line, like snapping at you for no reason, don't just take it. A simple, "Hey, I'm here for you, but don't talk to me like that," sets the tone. Strength with boundaries is irresistible. 9. Silence is louder than arguments. Ever notice how arguing with someone just makes things worse? Especially in relationships, getting into a shouting match or texting war is a losing game. It's all heat, no light. Instead, try this. When things get heated, go quiet. Not sulky, passive-aggressive quiet. Calm, collected silence. If she's trying to pick a fight or push your buttons, don't take the bait. Say something like, "I'm not doing this right now," and mean it. Then give her space. That pause does two things. It shuts down the drama and it makes her rethink her approach. Women respect men who don't get sucked into chaos. I saw this play out with a friend once. His girlfriend was mad about something small, forgotten plans, I think, and started going off. Instead of arguing, he just said, "I hear you, but I'm not fighting about this." Then he went for a walk. By the time he came back, she was apologizing. Silence showed he wasn't rattled, and that shifted the whole dynamic. 10. Know when to walk away. This one's tough, but crucial. If a woman isn't treating you with respect, isn't matching your effort, or keeps crossing lines you've set, you've got to be willing to walk. Not as a bluff or a power move, as a matter of self-respect. Walking away doesn't mean you hate her or wish her ill. It means you value yourself enough to not stick around for less than you deserve. And here's the thing. Sometimes that act of leaving is what makes her realize what she's lost. Not always, and that's okay. You're not doing it to win her back. You're doing it for you. I knew a guy who dated a woman who kept blowing him off. He'd planned dates, she'd cancel last minute, no apology. Finally, he told her, "I'm done chasing. If you want to talk, you know where to find me." And he meant it. She reached out a week later, suddenly all in. But by then, he'd moved on. Not out of spite, but because he knew his worth. That's the energy you want. Wrapping it up, so what's the big takeaway? Attraction isn't about being the loudest, richest, or best-looking guy in the room. It's about owning who you are, setting boundaries, and letting her feel the thrill of earning your attention. Women aren't chasing bad boys because they're mean. They're chasing the confidence, mystery, and emotional depth those guys project. You don't need to be a jerk to pull that off. You just need to be a man who knows his value and isn't afraid to show it. Keep your life full, your vibe unpredictable, and your standards high. Give her the space to miss you, the reason to respect you, and the spark to keep her coming back. That's how you stand out, not by following the crowd, but by forging your own path.